Hi, English learners. Welcome to Fluent Fables. How are you feeling today? I hope you are happy and excited to learn something new. This story is easy to understand, so do not worry. Just listen, enjoy, and let us start. Part 1, The Missed Shortcut. My name is Robert, and I believe life gives us choices. Some are easy, some are hard, but every choice takes us somewhere. This story is about a moment in my life when I chose to take the hard way, and how that changed everything. I still remember that morning. I had an interview for my dream job. It was on the 27th floor of a big office building. I was dressed in my best suit, holding my resume, and feeling both nervous and excited. I entered the building and walked straight to the elevator. But there was a big sign, "Elevator out of order." I stood there in shock. 27 floors. No elevator. I looked around and saw others turning back. Some people said, "It is not worth it," and left. For a second, I thought about giving up too. But then something inside me whispered, "If you really want this, take the stairs." I looked at the staircase. It looked long. It looked hard. But I took a deep breath, and I climbed, step by step, one floor at a time. My journey had begun. Part 2, the climb begins. The first 5 floors were easy. I walked fast, full of energy. I told myself, this is not so bad. But after the 10th floor, my legs started to hurt. I was sweating. My shirt was wet. My breath was short. Every step felt heavier than the last. I sat on the stairs for a minute. I thought, maybe this was a mistake. Maybe I should just go home. But then I remembered something my mother once told me. Hard paths lead to beautiful places. That voice in my heart spoke again. You have already come so far. Keep going. So I stood up. I took a sip of water, and I kept climbing. People passed me. Some were walking down. Some were walking up. Some looked at me and smiled. One old man said, "Do not stop, young man. The top is worth it." His words gave me strength. I kept going. By the 15th floor, my legs were shaking. But my will was stronger. I was not just climbing stairs. I was climbing towards my goal. Towards my future. Step by step. Brick by brick. Dream by dream. Part 3, the turning point. By the time I reached the 20th floor, my shirt was completely soaked. My legs felt like stone. My hands were shaking. It was getting harder to breathe. Each step felt like a mountain. I paused again, this time leaning against the wall. A young woman passing by asked, "Are you okay?" I smiled weakly and nodded. "I am just going to an interview on the 27th floor." She laughed and said, "You are crazy, but in a good way. Keep climbing." Those words made me smile. Even in pain, I was not alone. The people around me, even strangers, became part of my climb. When I reached the 23rd floor, I saw a window. I looked out. The view was beautiful. The city below looked small. And for the first time, I felt tall. Not because of height, but because I had come so far on my own. I realized something important. The real interview was not upstairs. The real test was this climb, this effort, this pain, and I was passing it. I closed my eyes for a moment, took a deep breath, and said to myself, only 4 more floors. Part 4, step by step to the top. Floor 24, then 25, then 26. Each one felt like a victory. Every step was louder in my head than my heartbeat. I was tired more than ever before, but I was not giving up. When I reached the 27th floor, I stood in front of the office door. My shirt was wet, my hair was messy, my feet were burning, but my heart was proud. I fixed my tie, wiped my face with a handkerchief, and walked in. The lady at the reception looked at me and said, "You are early. The elevator is still broken." So most candidates canceled. I smiled and said, "I took the stairs." She looked surprised, then impressed. She said, "Well, that already says a lot about you." A few minutes later, I was called in. The interviewers were kind but serious. They asked questions. I answered honestly. I shared my story, how I climbed 27 floors, because I did not want to miss the chance. One of them smiled and said, "That shows dedication. Most people only want shortcuts." That is when I realized, sometimes life breaks the elevator on purpose, so we can prove we are ready to climb. Part 5, the view from the top. 2 days later, I got a call. "Hello, Robert. This is from the company you interviewed with. Congratulations, you have been selected." I could not believe it. I thanked them, hung up the call, and just stood still for a moment. I looked at my old shoes. They still had dust from those stairs. That dust was not dirt. It was proof of my effort, proof that I did not give up. Many people are waiting for an elevator in life, a shortcut, a quick way up. But sometimes that elevator never comes. Sometimes you have to take the stairs. And yes, they hurt. Yes, they take time. But each step makes you stronger. Now, when I walk into that office every day, I look at those stairs, and I smile, because they were not just stairs. They were my training, my challenge, and my way up. Remember this, friend. When the elevator is broken, do not wait. Start climbing, step by step, with hope, with heart, with strength. That is how you reach the top. The end.